If you've watched the news lately, or you watch this show every night, or any show every night, then you'll have heard a lot about Donald Trump. You hear about his business conflicts, his tweets about the Russia investigation, more about the Russia investigation. Seriously, there is a lot of talk about this Russia investigation.
Russia investigation.
Russia investigation.
Russia investigation.
Russia investigations.
Russia investigation.
Russia investigation.
Russia investigation.
Russia investigations.
Russia investigation. We're all guilty of it. Now, I get why this is dominating the news. I do. Democrats are hoping that this is what gets Donald Trump impeached. You know, some Republicans are secretly hoping that this is what gets Donald Trump impeached. But the thing is, in the bluster and all the noise and all the stuff and all of these stories, it's important to remember that he is still the President of the United States. And it's still his job to take action on issues, which is why we heard this news yesterday and we were really upset by it. We heard the news that 6 of the 18 members of the Presidential Advisory on HIV and AIDS, they resigned last week, which is sad in and of itself, but the reason they resigned is the thing that makes it really sad. They resigned because, as they put it, they said that Donald Trump simply does not care about HIV and AIDS, and he doesn't. He's shown he doesn't care by taking down the Office of National AIDS Policy's website on the day that he took office. He's refused to even appoint anybody to lead that office, and he's proposed changes to healthcare, which, if they were to happen, they would devastate all marginalised Americans who are living with HIV and AIDS. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this is odd. James, it's odd that Donald Trump doesn't care, but he should care. We all should care. I looked up some stats today, which is shocking, really. More than 1.1 million people in the US live with HIV and AIDS, and of those, nearly 60% are unable to access life-saving medications. And that's not to mention the 36.7 million people worldwide who live with HIV, of whom nearly 2 million are children under the age of 15. Now, a lot of people don't know those statistics, and there's many reasons for that, but one of them is that HIV and AIDS, it still carries a stigma for many people, and they don't want to talk about it. And if you don't talk about it, it makes it easy to ignore. Like, I can remember growing up, like, HIV and AIDS, it was a thing that nobody wanted to talk about it, which is why most of what I know, or when I started to learn or first hear about HIV and AIDS, I learnt from the movie Philadelphia. It was the first... It was true. It's the first time I'd ever seen anything about this disease on television, and as I learned more, I started to care about it. And I was thinking today, maybe that's the problem here. Maybe Donald Trump doesn't care because he's never seen Philadelphia. In fact, I'm almost certain that's probably what it is. So today, we called the White House and we asked if we could send a copy of Philadelphia to the president. Well, I wouldn't... You're clapping like we got anywhere with this. We didn't. If anything, they were not forthcoming about sending it there. I mean, I would say it felt like they wanted to get me off the phone. But then we thought, why would we even send it to the White House anyway? The president's never there. He's playing golf at Mar-a-Lago. So to make sure that he gets it, to make sure that he cares, or to at least try and help find a way that he might even bring himself to care about this, today we've sent 297 copies of the movie Philadelphia to Trump's Florida hotel, Mar-a-Lago. That's right, Mr. President, 297 copies. The reason we've sent 297 copies is that is the most we could buy. On the internet, we got 21 from Amazon, we got 210 from Barnes & Noble, we got 50 from another Barnes & Noble, we got 50 from a different Barnes & Noble. Oh, no, sorry, 16 from a different Barnes & Noble. And where we could, we even spent the extra 14 cents per copy so that the president could enjoy it on Blu-ray. Yeah, don't let it be said we don't care. And we hope that if Trump watches Philadelphia, he'll understand 2 things. 1, Tom Hanks definitely deserve that Oscar. And number two, we hope they'll realise that HIV and AIDS is something that you or any president of the United States, or any world leader for that matter, can never afford to ignore. And for those of you who don't want to ignore this global epidemic, I urge you to visit Lambda Legal at the website address below. Go to their website to support this organisation and get educated about HIV and AIDS advocacy. And if you have a spare copy of Philadelphia lying around, if it's just in your house, you think, I've watched it now, I'll download it. Send your copy to President Donald J. Trump, Mar-a-Lago, 1100 South Ocean Boulevard, Palm Beach, Florida, 33480.